Okay, so we're going to try and simplify the bracing process in deadlift. So I'm guilty of over coaching extension in the past, and it's something over the past year I've changed my thinking on, and something that I've actually had quite a lot of success with. So the rationale of holding the spine in its natural curvature is still spot on. It's still something that we're trying to achieve. However, the thought process of trying to achieve that normal curvature by counteracting the bar's intention of pulling you down through overextension is not really correct. So got a lot of cues in the past that I would have coached, as in pushing the knees out, completely gone, shoulders back and down, still kind of doing it, but we're going to try and teach it in a more indirect way. It's something you can keep for anyone that specifically rounds through the thoracic spine. I teach a number of people who are new every week to deadlift, and over the past maybe 8 weeks, I've maybe seen 20 new people, and it's something that I've had to use once. So it's not something that we really we're going to use in our core vocabulary if you want, or it's not one of our core cues for lifting. So an analogy I'm just going to put across before we get into actually how I've kind of reduced it down is if you were in a tug of war against another team, do you think in the tug of war you would adopt this position? Or would you adopt this position with a long arm and a flexed thoracic spine? Well, we all know the answer to that question. It's option B. So when we're deadlifting, it's a tug of war with the barbell. Although you're pulling vertically, the mechanics of the upper body are the same. The mechanics are to transfer force into the thing that you're pulling. So in a tug of war, it's a rope. In a deadlift, it's the barbell. So we're trying to get out of our own way and allow ourselves to produce as much force as we can that's actually going to lift the bar. So these cues are more trying to get you to brace here. So that's going to keep the torso rigid, is what we want. With the arms, we're going to try and be as long as possible. And we're going to try and really reduce it down and simplify it, so that then we can just use our legs on our glutes to lift the bar. So we have this kind of reduced down to 4 things. We'll not cover stance. You can check out any number of deadlift videos for a look at that. You want the bar over mid-foot. Surprise, surprise. When we grip the bar, we're going to start off by gripping it in the fingers. Reason being, so we're going to grip it in the fingertips. When we go on to take a hook grip, or we go on to take a mixed grip, or an overhand grip, that's where we want to grip the bar, in the fingertips. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our back parallel to the floor like in a pendlay row. Then I'm going to take my arms and I'm going to try with my hands on the bar, lift my chest as far away from the bar as possible. And I'm going to keep doing that the whole time. So I'm going to try and lift my chest as far away from the bar as possible. And while I do that, I'm going to really try and elongate my arm position. So chest as far away from the bar as possible. So once I've got my arms as long as possible and my chest as far away from the bar as possible, I am then going to get my air, breathe in and brace. So from this position, I'm going to breathe in to the outside. So I'm going to breathe in to here. So if you have a belt on, we're breathing more into the obliques than into the stomach. And then I'm going to tense along there as well. Once I've done this, I'm not going to breathe again. Once I've taken my air in, breathe into the sides, locked it down, I'm not going to breathe again. As I do that, I'm also going to squeeze my ass. So we're not going to coach like in the squat we would coach a pelvic tilt. We're not going to coach that. I'm just going to want you from this position where we're as long as possible and we get our air, squeeze your ass as well. You can maybe try some of that, but it can be a bit finicky. We really want to just emphasize getting as much distance between the bar and your chest as possible. getting air, locking it down, getting a really good brace. So that's step 2. Step 1, long arms, chest away from the bar. Step 2, set the core, so big air, brace hard, squeeze your ass. Step 3, we're then going to lower our hips until our shin is vertical, or we're into the position from where you're going to actually lift the bar. So typically speaking, if we lower down to the shin vertical, that's going to be the correct height for you from where you should deadlift. And then once we've done, so as we're lowering our hips to the point in space where our shins are vertical, we're going to hold on to the brace, and we're going to keep our chest as far away from the bar as possible. The whole time, just looking ahead. So, let's up to step 3. Arms as long as possible, chest as far away from the bar as you can. Good brace, squeeze your ass. Drop the hips. And then we're in that position where we've maintained the length of the arm, maintained our chest as far away from the bar as possible, got a good brace, squeezing the ass, dropped our hips into the position we want to be. Then we're simply just going to push the floor away, and when the bar is moving, we'll shove our ass forward. So, all together, bending down to the bar, torso vertical like a Pendlay row, grip it in the fingertips, arms as long as you can, chest as far away from the bar as you can, good brace, squeeze the ass, drop the hips, push the floor away, hips forward, and then back down. And that's it. If we get that protraction, we get that long arm position with the arms vertical, we're going to pull on our lats. That pulling on our lats, pulling on this is going to engage all of the upper back. Then if we get a good brace from the core, that's going to keep the lumbar spine safe. It's going to keep it intact. And then if I keep my chest away from the bar and keep my arms long, as I come down into position, my back's going to be tight. Now, one thing you can add into the mix here, if you find that you can't keep your upper back tight for whatever reason, and there's nothing wrong with having a bit of flexion through the upper back, it's not something that we necessarily want to avoid. It might even be beneficial with some lifters. We can add in, as we're coming down, we can add in pulling the shoulder blades down if you want. I would keep that in the back pocket and only use it if you're consistently rounding specifically through the lower or through the thoracic spine in a manner that is stopping you from completing the lift. So if you have a little bit of rounding through the upper back, but you're still getting a solid lockout, it's fine. But if we're getting rounding that is impeding my ability to actually complete the lift, then we'll bring in the shoulder blades down cue to produce a little bit more extension in the thoracic spine, just to create a more solid lever so we can lock out easier on the deadlift. Okay? Hopefully you found that useful. Catch you in the next one.